In the dim glow of string lights strung across our family's dining room in suburban Chicago, the kind of lights that promise warmth but deliver none, my sister Brooke reached across the table and slapped my 7-month-old son Liam right across his chubby cheek. The crack echoed like a gunshot in a library, sharp, unexpected, and utterly ignored by everyone else. My parents froze mid-bite, forks hovering, eyes darting anywhere but at the blooming red welt on my baby's face. No one gasped. No one leaped up to check on him. They just sat there, waiting for me, Emily, to swallow it down like I always had, to murmur some apology for the disruption and let the evening roll on. But this time, the silence that had smothered me for years cracked open, and what spilled out wasn't forgiveness. It was the beginning of a reckoning I'd never planned, but one that had been building in the shadows of my soul. I'd learned to be invisible long before I knew the word for it. Back when I was 9, at our grandparents' old ranch-style house in the Illinois countryside, I'd hover at the edge of the living room during family gatherings, clutching the arm of a worn leather armchair that no one else ever sat in. It was my spot, the one where I could watch without being seen. Brooke, 3 years my senior, commanded the center like she was born with a spotlight wired into her veins. Mom would fuss over her, smoothing her dress, praising her latest school project or dance recital. Look at you. Star of the show, she'd coo. If I tried to edge in, to share my own little drawing or report card, Dad would clear his throat and mutter, "Let your sister have her moment. Family's about supporting each other. Supporting her." He meant. I'd retreat to that chair, feeling the leather creak under me, the weight of unspoken rules pressing down like an invisible hand on my shoulder. That pattern etched itself into my bones. In high school, when I aced my AP history exam, Brooke accidentally knocked over my backpack, scattering my notes into a puddle outside the cafeteria. Mom rushed to her side, hugging her tight. "Oh, honey, don't cry, accidents happen." To me, a quick pat on the back and, "Emily, you can rewrite them. You're so organized anyway." Dad's line was always the clincher. "Don't blow this out of proportion." Blow it out? It felt like I was the one being deflated, shrunk down to fit into their perfect picture where Brooke shone and I faded. By college, I'd internalized it so deeply that when Brooke needed money for her sorority dues, I handed over my part-time waitressing savings without a fight. "You're the responsible one," Mom said, like it was a compliment. Responsible for keeping the peace, for absorbing the hits so no one else had to feel the sting. Marriage to Ryan changed the air I breathed. We met at a bustling coffee shop in downtown Chicago when I was 25. He was the barista who actually remembered my order and asked about my day like he meant it. For the first time, someone saw me, not through me. When I brought him home, my family was cordial but cool. They grilled Brooke's boyfriends like they were interviewing for a job. But with Ryan, surface chit-chat about the weather or traffic. He noticed. Of course. On the drive back that first night, he glanced over and said, "Do they always treat you like the afterthought?" The question hit like a dam breaking. I pulled over and sobbed. Not from pain, but from the sheer relief of being witnessed. Yet even then, the old habits clung. Step lightly. Don't rock the boat. Sacrifice your voice for their comfort. Liam's birth should have rewritten the script. He arrived on a crisp autumn morning, tiny and perfect, his cries filling the hospital room like a promise of new beginnings. But at our first family visit, Brooke hogged the holding time, cooing dramatically for photos while Mom beamed approval. When Liam fussed in my arms later, Dad suggested I give him to Brooke. She's got the magic touch. The dismissal stung, but I smiled through it, burying the hurt like buried treasure I'd never dig up. Holidays amplified it all. Thanksgiving dinners where Brooke's tales of her marketing job dominated. My updates on freelance graphic design brushed aside. Emily's always so quiet, they'd say, as if it were a virtue, not a survival tactic. That Christmas Eve, the tension simmered like a pot left too long on the stove. Mom had decked the house in over-the-top decor, twinkling trees, garlands everywhere, insisting it be picture-perfect for Brooke's Instagram reel. She was always filming, turning family moments into content for her followers. Liam was teething, cranky from the noise and lights, his little whimpers cutting through the chatter. I rocked him gently at the table, whispering soothing words. But Brooke shot me a glare. Jesus. Emily, can't you shut him up? You're killing the mood. Mom nodded subtly. Maybe step out for a bit? Dear. Let him calm down. The words landed like familiar weights, urging me to vanish again. But before I could comply, Liam let out a sharper cry. Brooke's hand flashed out smack right on his soft cheek. His wail peaked, then shattered into stunned hiccups. I stared at the mark, my heart slamming against my ribs, the room spinning in slow motion. The betrayal hit deeper than the slap. Mom averted her eyes, fiddling with her napkin. Dad cleared his throat but said nothing. They waited for me to downplay it, to apologize for Liam's fussiness, to restore their illusion of harmony. Rage bubbled under my skin, hot and unyielding. But I held it in, that old silence wrapping around me like armor. Ryan, though, he rose like a storm cloud gathering force. His chair scraped back with deliberate slowness, drawing every eye. He fixed Brooke with a stare that could freeze lava. Leave. Now. His voice was low, unyielding, a command that brooked no argument. Brooke's jaw dropped. What? It was just a light tap, he's fine. Mom jumped in. Ryan. Let's not escalate, but he cut her off. She assaulted a child. She goes. Or we do. The air thickened, charged with the unspoken truth they'd all ignored. Brooke stormed out, slamming the door. Her parting shot, you're such a drama queen. Emily. Always victimizing yourself. We didn't linger. I carried Liam upstairs to the guest room, away from their judging eyes, tracing the fading red on his cheek with trembling fingers. Mom followed, wringing her hands. Emily. Brooke's under stress, work's been tough. You know how sensitive she is. Sensitive. The word ignited something primal in me. She hit my son, I whispered, my voice cracking for the first time. Mom waved it off. It was barely anything. Don't ruin the holiday over this. Ruin it? For whom? The realization crashed over me. They'd never choose us. Never protect us. I gathered our things, Ryan by my side, and we left into the biting Chicago wind. The silence in the car not empty, but full of resolve. Home felt like a fortress that night. I tucked Liam into his crib, watching his innocent sleep, the trust in his tiny features fueling a fire I'd long suppressed. No tears came. Instead, a cold clarity settled. I sat at my desk, laptop open, and began documenting every detail. The time, 7:32 p.m. The setup, Brooke's phone propped for her reel. The witnesses, Mom, Dad, silent as stones. The aftermath, no apologies, just excuses. I snapped a photo of Liam's cheek under soft lamplight. The mark faint but undeniable. Then, screenshots from the family chat, Mom's texts dismissing my parenting concerns, Brooke's demands for attention, Dad's non-responses. I built a timeline in a spreadsheet. Tabs for incidents dating back years, the accidents, the favoritism, the emotional erasures. This wasn't vengeance born of heat, it was a calculated shield, forged from decades of swallowed pain. Next, I emailed a family law attorney I'd researched months ago during a work dispute. Neutral. Factual. Attaching the files. Documentation of child endangerment incident, I titled it. Hitting send felt like exhaling a breath held too long. Ryan watched from the doorway. "This is you fighting back," he said softly. "No questions. Just unwavering support." The psychological toll gnawed at me in the quiet hours, nights replaying the slap, doubting if I was overreacting like they'd drilled into me. But Liam's safety anchored me. The betrayal of my own blood family cut deepest. A wound that festered with every ignored call. Days later, Mom demanded a family meeting. We returned. Coats on. Liam in his carrier. The house reeked of stale cinnamon candles and tension. Brooke sat defiant. Arms crossed, Mom flanked her like a guard. Dad paced uneasily. "Emily, you misunderstood," Mom began. Brooke snarled. "That email? You're trying to destroy me." I placed the printed folder on the table. Photos. Logs. Legal notes. "This is what happened," I said evenly. "A pediatrician confirmed the risk. This protects Liam." Brooke exploded. "You're pathetic." Always playing the martyr. Ryan stepped in. His presence a wall. "Enough. Leave. Or we will." The room iced over. For once, no one defended her. Brooke fled, cursing. The doors clicked, sealing her exit. Mom's voice trembled. "What now?" "Emily? We're family." I met her eyes. The hurt raw but resolute. "Family doesn't mean enduring harm." This is the line. We left. The drive home heavy with the cost, lost illusions, severed ties. But in our backyard the next day, as Liam toddled toward me under the weak winter sun, his laughter pure and unscarred, I felt the silence shift. It wasn't defeat anymore, it was power. The revenge wasn't flashy, it was in the boundaries I drew. The truth I documented. The life I reclaimed. Families fracture in whispers as much as shouts. And in that quiet, I found my voice. The price? Isolation from the past. The gain? Freedom for my future. And for Liam's. In the end, silence became my strongest ally. A boundary no one could cross again.